Hello and welcome to Filmfolket's podcast. We that speaks today is Göran,
Johannes,
Alexander.
Today's movie is The Sixth Day, the movie in brief.
in a not too distant future, the debate on cloning is at a fever pitch, with the commercial uses applied to pets while religious groups protest. In this situation, charter pilot Adam Gibson leaves his last trip for the day in the hands of his colleague Hank to go home and celebrate his birthday. Adam comes home to find that he has been replaced and is soon pulled into a violent chase as assassins have been sent by tech CEO Drucker to get rid of the redundant Adam and cover up his illegal cloning of human beings.
That's a good summary. I think this movie is very interesting when it comes to cloning, and also what is truth and what is not. Especially when I mixed it up a little bit when we were watching, and it's an interesting use of the technology that we had in the beginning of the 2000 when we saw the cloning process and also some of the screens that they had when he was in one of the waiting room when he was going to be interrogated, and there was like a screen and it was more like a window that he was able to like break into it. So I don't know what kind of special technology they used for that, but it couldn't have been cheap.
It's very interesting how they do these things in the science fiction movies. It's a reflection of the technologies of the time, but also this kind of tech optimism of what we might be able to accomplish. One example is how he's piloting these large helicopter planes for the charter business using basically this arm-mounted joystick device that's well, you might have it on a model plane, but they put it on a much larger scale. But also these touch screens and everything in the home, and these are kinds of things that you can extrapolate from the technology at the time to what we might have in the future. And interestingly enough, we often find these innovations made real later on.
I mean, we have gone very far when it comes to technology, but I don't know if we have gotten to the part yet when his friend who had the hologram, how it worked and how it was reacted to the person. So it was kind of cool, but I don't know how long time it will take before we get to that point.
It's a funny detail because it's this basic premise of a holographic girlfriend. We saw that in the Blade Runner 2049 with Joy. But this is a much more rudimentary version that's, let's say, it's been extremely catering to the user's desires. His Adam's work buddy, he has this holographic girlfriend who is obviously programmed to cater to his habits and ego. So he's made himself very comfortable that way.
I mean, it made it kind of funny when Arnold's character, which is more down to earth and try to accept life the way it is, and he didn't want to make like a copy of the dog and try to learn his daughter the nature of life, that we all have to die someday. And it can be hard to tell a child that meaning at that age, but you have to do it someday, and it's just how it is.
Yes, it's an interesting reflection of things. The movie has a surprising amount of thought put into the debate, because there's this social movement as a political issue with the human cloning being illegal, but also cloning itself being very controversial, and primarily religious groups protesting, and there being these fundamentalists who go to violent ends to stop it. And you also have this fact that the villain is this profit-driven tech guy who is kind of a psychopathic Steve Jobs kind of guy. And he kind of represents this amoral, I don't know, nihilistic approach to things. He doesn't really care about human life in any capacity. He just wants to leverage this technology for his own power.
Yeah, I feel like that, but when we have the contrast of the other researcher that understand that, oh, this is wrong, and after his wife got killed, that I think she also was a clone, and that she only had like 5 years left, and she told him that I don't want to be cloned anymore, I just want to die, and he granted her wish, and he didn't clone her, and he felt like he wanted to stop the whole process and move on, but this ego guy killed him.
Yes, there's a thing there that the villain Michael Drucker, played by Tony Goldwyn, is he just sees the profit and the power in this technology. He wants to use it to basically control politicians and more or less rule the world and conquer death, while this aging Dr. Weir, played by Robert Duvall, is this more sympathetic human face to the cloning side. And all he really wants to do is to clone his dying wife, unable to let go of her. And I think that's good, because it shows that it's a more complicated issue than just having this evil tech guy versus the religious fundamentalists in a kind of bleak evil versus evil kind of thing. Acting wise, you also have Arnold Schwarzenegger playing against himself, because he has obviously been cloned and eventually meets himself. I think that's kind of funny.
It's an interesting concept, and of course in the beginning they were like enemies to each other, but they helped each other in the end, and even when he know that he wasn't the real guy and he was the clone, and the real guy even made it so he got away and were able to have his own life. So they were nice to each other in the end, so it was a good story.
It's interesting how by the end of things they've reconciled, and the original Adam gives the clone Adam a chance at his own life, recognizing that he is a human being like any other, even if he has to basically escape to Argentina to have a life of his own. There's this emotional scene at the end too, where he's basically allowed to step into his original self's role to say goodbye to his family.
Okay, I was thinking what could have been done better, and other thoughts.
I want to say that this is Terry Crews' first acting role as Drucker's assassin Vincent. The cloning thing has a few issues. They clone Adam, and it's a point that they have replicated his shaving cut from the morning when he went to work. However, they can't really clone these personal items with emotional and sentimental value. So in several scenes you see that he has his wedding ring on, and that's a little odd because this is the cloned Adam, so they have obviously outfitted him with a fake ring or something. And I mean, if you have a wedding ring, you're probably intimately familiar with it, and you would know it's a fake or whatever. These are details that, if you want to create a fake individual, you would really have to go very far in terms of small details like these. Besides that, the clone Adam, he actually does a lot of crimes that are now plausibly pinned on the original Adam by the end of the movie, which is kind of funny because nobody really knows that he's been cloned, so there should be all these pieces of security footage of him shooting people and everything. It's a very complicated situation for him. I also reacted that when Drucker clones himself to escape death for like the, I don't know, 8th time or something, he has this really botched clone. But even with all these flaws, he apparently doesn't need his original's glasses. So that's an interesting detail. There's also a really big plot hole in Drucker's plan, because he says he basically wants to control politicians by offering them a second chance at life. And when they're cloned, he has this basically a control leverage by having the clones having these genetic disorders and things, that they start dying after 5 years, so that he can continuously control them by offering them new bodies and stuff like that. This is something that obviously doesn't work, because it's a problem with a lot of science fiction ideas with cloning and brain uploading and everything like that, because it necessitates a continuation of consciousness. And if you have several versions of the same guy, those older versions really aren't the same individual. There is ideally there would only be one mind continuing through these iterations, but obviously there are several individuals with their own minds and their own thoughts and their own lives, and the blackmail really doesn't work. You can't tell a guy that I'm going to offer you a second chance at life by cloning you if you're basically dying and that's it for you. Dead is dead. It doesn't matter that there is a new version of you going to work the day after. So it's a plan that doesn't work.
Have any more to add? Or
just that it's a point that's really obvious given the scene where the Drucker clones himself, that he's face to face with his own psychopathic behavior and disregard for human life, that he just loots his own dying body for clothes. And well, there you have yourself, and that's not you. So it is you, but it isn't you, and you're dying, you're looking at yourself, and well, there is no continuation. He should have some kind of epiphany there.
so, ideas for next time?
We talked about watching a shorter movie, just for a matter of time constraints. So I will look through my shelves and see if I can find something appropriate. Besides that, I've been juggling the idea of watching From Dusk Till Dawn.
Yeah, it sounds good. I wish you all goodbye for this time, and don't forget to watch, like, and subscribe. See you next time.
Goodbye.